Trevor, we're going to talk about the possible departure of Raheem Sterling. Do you understand this, Trev? Because look, his goal record is almost 1-3. Magnificent. Yep. He's not playing for City at the moment. It's difficult because who's in front of him, the squad. But Gareth stands by him with England, and you cannot fault his goals, appearances, and goals record. Fantastic. Does he have to play? He's 26.
I think he wants to play like any player. I think the statements that he came out with, I think he's been fair. You know, he's not criticised the club or anything. He's in that time of his life where he wants to enjoy his football. Like you say, he's coming up to his peak, 26. He's given us a lot already. He's given Manchester City a great deal in performances, in silverware. I think he's been excellent, and the criticism that he's had to take unfairly at times, and the way that he's, kept his head up, pumped his chest out and shoulders back, and just the way that he's handled himself, I think it's been exceptional. He's a player that a lot of youngsters look up to, and I think he's carried himself extremely well.
If he was to go, where would he stay in this country, Trevor? Would he look? It was interesting. Neil Custis was not excited about Paris. I don't think he can go to Spain at the moment, can he? There's no real money there. So where does he go?
I think for me, I think he's going to end up in Barcelona. I think they will sort their finances out, whether it become a package that the club take on board to handle their debt, to bring more revenue into the football club so they can spend more money on wages and players. Whether he's going to cost anything is a different story. I'd like to think that he doesn't leave Manchester City for free. Because I think that would leave a bit of a stain on his performance and the time that he's had at the football club. But what he brings to the team, it's not changed. I think it's just that I feel the team's evolved under Pep. This is kind of a next generation where he doesn't want players to be taking players of the opposition so much. It's all about pattern. And even, we remember the story that Thierry Henry said when he was playing for Barcelona, and he did something which he wasn't supposed to in the final third, or in the middle third, should I say. And Pep brought him off at half-time. He'd just scored a great goal. I think he's going even further now, Pep, with his philosophy. And he wants them patterns of play in the final third as well, rather than players coming out of a piece of brilliance. So I think with Raheem and what he brings to the table, I think he's not really been able to adapt to that. I think Phil Foden's gone and done superbly well. They've obviously strengthened in that left wing area with bringing Grealish in the summer. And it's one of them where I just feel that his skill set is not needed so much by Pep, and that's why he's found himself out of the team. Plus, you have to say, Grealish has done brilliant since he's gone to Manchester City. He's a real fan's favourite. Foden, homegrown, he's done superbly well, and they've managed him superbly well. And I think it's just one of them where he's out of form and he's out of favour with the manager. I don't think there's been a falling out, but I feel that it's a critical time for Manchester City to do some kind of business, because if they don't get it done this January, he can start talking to clubs next season, and I think there's a risk that he could leave for nothing. So I think there could be a loan deal, maybe at Christmas or the end of the season, but. I certainly don't see him staying at the football club if he doesn't starting more games. He's only started one game this season since the start of the season.
It's amazing, really, Trev, because when he come from Liverpool, you're thinking, well, yeah, he's a good player, but he's got so much better under Pep Guardiola. And suddenly he's not fitting in. Surely Pep would say, okay, wait a minute, this is what we want to do now, and he's listened because he's improved under him. So yeah. I don't see why all of a sudden he's fell out of favour.
Because Phil Foden's done so well. You look at Phil Foden's performances for Manchester City, they've been exceptional. Plus they've strengthened in that area.
Could he play as centre forward, Sterling? He's done it before.
Think so. Yeah, listen, I think quite a few of the Manchester City players have been asked to play that role for Manchester City, and they've done okay, and sometimes they've done really well, but being asked again, can they repeat that? I think it's a really difficult position to take on board, and I don't think that's for Raheem. He's a right-footed, left-sided player, and I think that's where you see his best work. And you have to applaud what Phil Foden's done. He's gone in there and literally taken the position of one of the best players in England. But then looking at the situation with England, Gareth Southgate wants different things from the player in that position, and that's why he's still getting the nod. So it's different strokes for different blokes. Different coaches want different things from different players, even if they're playing the same system. So even although it's a 4-2-3-1 a lot of the time at Manchester City and it is at England, I think he fits the bill for Gareth, but for what Pep wants in his Manchester City team, he's not quite ticking the boxes.
So he's definitely go abroad, Trev, or will he stay in the Premier League?
Well, I think he'll go. I think he'll go abroad. I don't think he'll go to one of the traditional rivals of Manchester City. I don't think Manchester City will allow that to happen. But with what's going on at Newcastle, if they start to invest massively in players, why wouldn't Raheem Sterling be a player that they'd look at? Whether he'd consider them, I don't know. It depends what other players they bring in. But it's an exciting time for the Geordies. But going back to what I said earlier, I do feel Barcelona, if they could, they've got a lot of really good young players. Oh, hello. There's a fine for Razor.
Ray, how long have you been doing this?
Wait, it's not me, it's Trev.
Ray, how long have you been doing this?
Do you not work your phone now?
So yeah, I honestly just see him going to a climate where it's a lot warmer and really enjoying his football, and then maybe later on in his career potentially going to America. Here's
one for you. I'd love Sterling at the Arsenal. He seemed to work well from Mikel. Oh no, it's Alex.
No. Well, work well with Mikel.
No, he's not. He's not
from Mikel.
He's not going to the Arsenal, is he? Who was his team? Who was his team when he was young? Who did he support?
I'm not
sure. Wembley boy, isn't he?
He come from QPR, didn't he? QPR.
Yeah, possibly QPR. Yeah. So
what's that got to do with it, Al?
That's not going to happen, is it?
Well, unfortunately, as he gets a little bit older, he might go back to the team he loved. You know, like you might go back to West Ham.
I mean, I wouldn't discount Arsenal. But what you just said there about his relationship with Mikel Arteta and how he played under him, he was on form when he was playing for Mikel Arteta.
Wages a bit problem,
obviously. Too. Yeah, will it if he goes for free?
No, you see, you balance it up, Ray. You give him a right few quid, you give him a bung. Whoa, a bung's the wrong word. You give him a right few quid, and that makes up for the wages. Yes, correct.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.